So I got a couple questions here. No relationship with critical partners. How do you determine your critical partners? Is that another internal, external discussion? Is that another sector or government? How do you approach that?
So I'll just give you the example of somebody I'm working with right now. One of the things that I asked them, they have, because of what they produce, I would look at it as being high on the crime risk. The fact is that the raw material has high value, and I would see that that would be something that somebody would break into if they knew it, and they go to great lengths to keep that secret. But one
Mhm.
of the areas that I advise them to do is to start um, interfacing with the fusion center that's in their state, and be able to reach out to some of their state um, EOC partners to be able to get crime information, being able to see if there's a pattern such as copper theft is on the rise, bronze is here's the cost. If you have this, you may be at risk. The fact is that information starts helping you in many ways. One, it helps you, basically identify the risk and take steps. It also assists you in when you have to explain why you want to spend dollars to maybe mitigate the process. Another area is the protective security advisors, which is the Department of Homeland Security group that will come out to private businesses and just help them evaluate and identify risks, be able to identify what others in the area are experiencing, share information. And what'll happen is that with that information, again, helps you to proactively anticipate that it may be a risk you may want to start taking steps to address. That's just one example. Another example is, reaching out to your counties. If you, for instance, have it on your risk evaluation that flooding is a big issue. And what you're not aware of is that the county is working on a project where, because of some, new retention or because of some pumps, that the risk should be minimized. You don't want to start spending dollars to find out that what you just prepared for is no longer a risk because of the steps taken by others. So the more interaction you have, the more information you gather, it'll tell you what your risks are. It'll also tell you how others are also assisting with some of that mitigation. And then there's just the overall community. Again, I've talked about that before. Being able to show how your ability to recover is going to contribute, because it's both ways. If you reach out to somebody, trust me when I say one day they may reach out to you for some type of support as well.
I'm really glad you brought up the government side because there is so much information that you can get. I think the fusion centers is a good one. Um, and I love the protective security advisors. A lot of people don't realize they come out and they'll do these risk assessments secure. They're not going to share that information. It's protected at no cost, which is tremendous. And I know specifically, I've talked to many of the protective security advisors. They connect a lot of the people they do these risk assessments for. They connect them to other businesses that could be those critical partners. Really, I didn't realize they can do that. Um, the other one, I wanted to zero in on was conflicting priorities. Right? Maybe we can drill into that. Give me an example of um, what that might look like. Um,
Now, I'll tell you, I just had somebody reach out, and the question that they had is that, can you give me ideas to be able to sell the importance of business continuity to the C-suite? And when I talked to this individual, I asked him, and he said the problem is that it gets identified that we're going to do a business continuity plan, and then something else comes up. So all of a sudden, they're ready to kick off business continuity, and somebody comes up with a new marketing plan that's going to take all the resources, all the financial resources, or maybe all the internal resources. Um, then he'll say, as he explained it to me, and then they were getting ready to do the business continuity plan, and then there was a marketing initiative that went out. So they hired a consultant. So instead of hiring the consultant to do the business continuity plan, the expenditures were spent for this new marketing plan. So you just get into these conflicting priorities where It's one of those things people, they know it's there, they worry about it, but something else comes up that can either increase revenue, promote growth. We all have, shareholders or stakeholders. The fact is that a lot of times um, those priorities do push business continuity. There's always great regret when you don't have a business continuity plan in place and something gets impacted. But
Right.
the fact is that again, I've said before, we seem to live in a very reactive society versus proactive.
Yeah. No, I can see that. It's easier to grow revenue than it is to protect revenue, right? Just,
It's a good
I
way to
can,
put it.
yeah, I can see that as a simpler choice because protecting it, you don't know if this money's ever going to come back to you, right? You're protecting against something you may or may not experience. So I can see that one.